Before we get started, if you need restrooms, they're through that door or the back door and round down the hallway on the right-hand side. We also ask that you don't take photographs during the performance. There'll be a photograph opportunity afterwards, and also no video, enter your thumbs up, etc., etc. I think you probably know the drill by now. So this is our full performance, and there have been two casts in this play. We call them the Victoria Station cast and the Brighton Line cast. And if you haven't already seen the play, and I know many of you have, you'll get to see why they're called that during the performance. This play, this production, is the culmination of a very, very busy senior year on the part of the seniors. They started their 12th grade year with a trip to Maine, meeting other Waldorf students out in the world. They completed college applications and have been accepted to multiple different colleges across the country and across the world, in fact. They completed and presented their senior projects in March. A series, a variety of different topics, a variety of different genres, from research papers to practical projects to artistic projects. They are a wildly talented group. After the senior projects, they went off and did internships for 2 weeks to go out into the world where they're going to be stepping a little more permanently in just a few weeks' time. And when they came back, then they, having had a year where they were really individually challenged for much of the year, they came back to do something as a group, as a class. It is a drawing back together and a weaving together and an understanding of what they are capable of when they can work as a team, come to consensus, understand how to navigate difficult situations and conversations, but how to have a vision that is shared amongst everybody around the table. So when I talk about the table, the very first class that we have, we're actually not here in the auditorium. The auditorium is very, very busy. With many, as you know, different events going on during the year. So we start out in the community room or up in different classrooms up on the 4th floor, and we literally have an empty table. We just have the people sitting around it with their talents and their ideas and their wishes and their will. And we start to talk about who are you? What do you want to leave as your gift to the community before you step out into the world? What kind of genres are you interested in? Who is your audience? What are your values? And we had so many deep and enriching conversations that led to points of entry into finding a script, because they don't have a script yet. I don't give them a script. I don't even give them a choice of scripts. This is their project, and they have to find their way through it together as a group. So they did research, they recommended scripts to each other, and finally they decided to do, kind of a little unpredictably, but very happily on my part, The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde, which is one of the most beautifully, if not the most perfectly constructed English 3-act comedy. Then they went about auditions and casting, and then they went off on spring break and started learning lines. And when we came back, we were rehearsing again in different spaces and finding out who these characters are. Acting is about character and relationship and situation. And you have to know all those things intimately in order to be able to play. We also did a lot of games to play together just as classmates, to get into that playful mood. It's called a play for a reason. And then they split into teams of production. So there are students who took on costumes, the vision for costumes, visions for set, visions for tech, and publicity. And really they have done, with under guidance, but they have done all of these things, made all these decisions themselves. And what better way to prepare themselves, not only for stepping out into the world, but that's what they'll be doing for the rest of their lives, working on teams, but also they're about to go on Monday to Costa Rica to perform service for a community outside of us. And they are so ready to go and perform that service. I want to say also that we've had a lot of support, and the class has supported each other massively. Our community always supports us, all our faculty and staff support us. I'd like to just say on a personal level that I personally am very supported not only by the faculty that I am a part of, and I also, as many of you know, work in the admissions office. And I am hugely supported, funnily enough, in the pedagogical work I do by my admission colleagues. And there is one particular colleague who is also a 12th grade parent. And she's an amazing colleague and also an amazing 12th grade parent. And she has really steered all the concessions. So I want to ask Kristen Hoffman to just come to the stage for a second. And again, thank you to all the 12th grade parents and the whole community for this experience. And thank you, most importantly, for coming today. Because a play, unlike many other productions, many other art forms, a play is only finished when the audience receives and has a conversation with it. That is the beauty of theatre. It is ephemeral, it is about the people in the room right now. And we all decided that we were going to be here at the same time in person. And isn't that something that we need in today's age, particularly, to be together and enjoy something together? So we appreciate being here. So now just sit back, relax, and enjoy the class of 2025's production of The Importance of Being Honest. Thank you.
When one is in town, one amuses oneself. When one is in the country, one amuses other people. It is excessively boring.
And who are the people you amuse?
Oh, neighbors.
Got nice neighbors in your part of Shropshire.
Shropshire? Yes, of course. Oh, hello. Why all these cups? Why the cucumber sandwiches? Why such reckless extravagance in one so young? Who is coming to tea?
Oh, merely Aunt Augusta and Gwendolyn.
Ah, how perfectly delightful.
It is all very well, but I'm afraid Aunt Augusta won't quite approve of your being here.
May I ask why?
My dear fellow, the way you flirt with Gwendolyn is perfectly disgraceful. It is almost as bad as the way Gwendolyn flirted with you.
But I love Gwendolyn. I've come up to town expressly to propose to her.
I thought you'd come up for pleasure. I call that business.
I thought you was unromantic.
I really don't see anything romantic in proposing. It is very, very romantic to be in love, but there's nothing romantic about the dirty proposal. Why, one may be accepted. One usually is, I believe. Then the excitement is all over. The very essence of romance, uncertainty. If ever I get married, I shall certainly try to forget that.
I have no doubt about that, dear Algie. The divorce court was specially invented for those whose memories are so curiously constituted.
Please don't touch the cucumber sandwiches. They are ordered specially for Aunt Augusta.
But you've been eating them all the time.
That is quite a different matter. She is my aunt. Have some bread and butter. The bread and butter is for Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn is devoted to bread and butter.
And very good bread and butter it is too.
My dear fellow, you need not eat it as if you were going to eat it all. You behave as if you were married to her already. You are not married to her already. And I don't think you ever will be.
Why on earth do you say that?
My dear fellow, to begin with, girls never marry men they flirt with. Girls don't think it right.
Oh, that is nonsense.
It isn't. It is a great truth. It comes to an extraordinary number of bachelors that one sees all over the place. In the second place, I don't give my consent.
Your consent?
My dear fellow, Gwendolyn is my first cousin, and before I allow you to marry her, you will have to clear up the whole question of Cecily.
Cecily? What on earth do you mean, Algie, by Cecily? I don't know anyone of that name.
Bring me the cigarette case that Mr. Worthing left in the smoking room last time you dined here. Yes, sir.
You mean to say that you had my cigarette case all this time? I wish to goodness you'd let me know. I've been writing frantic letters to Scotland Yard about it, and I was very nearly offering a large reward.
Well, I wish you would offer one. I have been doing more than usually hard up.
There's no good offering a large reward now that the thing is found.
I think that is wrong meaning you, Ernest, I must say. However, it makes no matter, for now that I look at the inscription inside, I find that the thing isn't yours after all.
Of course it isn't mine. You've seen me with it 100 times, and you have no right whatsoever to read what is written inside. It is a very ungentlemanly thing to read one's private cigarette case.
Oh, it is absurd how hard and fast rule that one should read about what one shouldn't. More than half my clothes and what one shouldn't read.
I have no doubt about that, dear Algie, but I don't propose to discuss modern culture with you. It isn't the sort of thing one discusses in private. I simply want my cigarette case back.
Yes, but this isn't your cigarette case. This cigarette case is a present from someone of the name of Cecily. And you just said you didn't know anyone of that name.
Well, if you must know, Cecily happens to be my aunt.
Your aunt?
Yes, charming old lady she is too. Lives at my place in Tunbridge Wells. Just give it back to me, Algie.
Yes, but why does she call herself Little Cecily if she's your aunt and lives at Tunbridge Wells? From Little Cecily, her fondest love.
My dear fellow, what on earth is there in that? Some aunts are tall, some aunts are not so tall. That is a matter that surely an aunt may be allowed to decide for herself. You seem to think that every aunt should be exactly like your aunt. It is absurd.
Yes, but why does your own aunt call you her uncle? There's no objection, I think, to an aunt being a small aunt, but why an aunt, no matter what her size may be, should call her own uncle her own nephew her uncle? I can't quite make out. Besides, it says that your name is Jack in here, and your name isn't Jack, it is Ernest.
It isn't Ernest, it's Jack.
You always told
Well, my name is Ernest in town and Jack in the country, and the cigarette case was given to me in the country.
Yes, but that is not the fact that you're... Yes, but it does not account for the fact that your small Aunt Cecily, who lives at Tunbridge Wells, calls you her dear uncle. Come on, boy, you much better have the whole thing out at once.
Oh, my dear Algy, you talk exactly as if you were a dentist. It is very vulgar to talk like a dentist when one isn't a dentist. It produces a very false impression.
Well, that is exactly what dentists always do. Now, go on, tell me the whole thing. I may mention that I've always suspected you of being a confirmed and secret Bunburyist, and I'm quite sure of it now.
Bunburyist? What on earth do you mean by a Bunburyist?
I'll reveal to you the meaning of that incomparable expression as soon as you are kind enough to inform me why you are Ernest in town and Jack in the country.
Well, produce my cigarette case first.
Here it is. Now, produce your explanation and pray make it probable.
My dear friend, there's nothing improbable about my explanation at all. In fact, it is perfectly ordinary. Old Mr. Thomas Cardew, who adopted me when I was a little boy, made me in his will guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cecily Cardew. Cecily, who addresses me as her uncle, under motives of respect that you could not possibly appreciate, lives at my place in the country under the charge of her admirable governess, Miss Prison.
And where is that place in the country, by the way?
That has nothing to do, dear boy. We're not going to be invited.
Well, that is okay. I have wondered all other structure on 2 separate occasions. Now, go on. Tell me, why are you Ernest in town and Jack in the country?
My dear Algy, I don't know whether you'll be able to understand my real motives at all. You are hardly serious enough. When one is placed under the position of guardian, one has to adopt a very high moral tone on all subjects. It is one's duty to do so. And as a high moral tone can be hardly said to conduce very much to either one's health or one's happiness, in order to get into town, I have always pretended to have a younger brother by the name of Ernest, who lives in the country and gets into the most dreadful scrapes. That, my dear Algy, is the whole truth, pure and simple.
The truth is rarely pure and never simple. Modern life would be very tedious if it were either, and modern literature a complete impossibility.
That wouldn't be at all a bad thing.
Literary criticism is not your forte, my dear boy. Don't try it. You should leave that to the people who have not been at university. You do it so well in the daily paper. What you are is a Bunburyist. I was quite right in saying you're a Bunburyist. You are one of the most advanced Bunburyists I know.
What on earth do you mean by a Bunburyist?
You have invented a very useful younger brother called Ernest, in order that you may be able to come up to town as often as you like. I have invented an invaluable permanent invalid called Bunbury, in order that I may be able to go down to the country whenever I choose. Bunbury is perfectly invaluable. If it wasn't for Bunbury's extraordinary bad health, for instance, I wouldn't be able to dine with you tonight at Willis's, for I've really been engaged to Aunt Augusta for more than a week.
I haven't asked you to dine with me anywhere tonight.
I know. You are absurdly careless about sending invitations. It is very foolish of you. Nothing annoys people so much as not receiving invitations.
I could have much better dine with your Aunt Augusta.
I have the smallest intention of doing anything of the kind. To begin with, I dine there on Monday, and once a week is quite enough to dine with one's own relations. In the same place, I know she will place the next Mary Parker, who always flirts with her husband across the dinner table. It is not very pleasant. Indeed, it is not even decent. Besides, now that I know you to be a confirmed Bunburyist, I naturally want to talk to you all about Bunbury. I want to tell you the rules.
Oh, I'm not a Bunburyist at all. If Gwendolyn accepts me, I'm going to kill my brother. Indeed, I think I'll do that in any case. Cecily is growing far too interested in him, and it is rather a bore. So I'm going to get rid of Ernest. And I strongly advise you to do the same with your invalid friend with the absurd name.
Nothing will induce me to part with Bunbury. Indeed, if you ever get married, which seems to me extremely problematic, I must say you will be very glad to know Bunbury. A man who marries without knowing Bunbury is a very tedious time of it.
Oh, that's nonsense.
It isn't.
If I were a charming girl like Gwendolyn, and she's the only girl I ever saw in the world who I would marry, then I certainly wouldn't want to know Bunbury.
Then your wife will. You don't seem to realize that in married life, 3 is something and 2 is none.
that, my dear friend, is the theory that the corrupt French drama has been propounding for the last 50 years.
Yes, and that the happy English tone has proved to be half the time.
Oh, don't be a cynic. It's perfectly easy to be cynical.
Ah, that must be Aunt Augusta. Only relatives all credit to this ever-bringing that Wagnerian man. Now, if I can get you out of the way for 10 minutes in order that you might have the opportunity for proposing to Gwendolyn, may I dine good with us tonight?
Well, sure, I suppose so if you want to.
Yes, but you must be serious about it. I hate people who are not serious about their meals. It is so shallow of them.
Lady Bracknell and Miss Fairfax.
Good afternoon, Algernon. I hope you are behaving very well.
I am feeling very well, Aunt Augusta.
It is not quite the same thing. In fact, the two rarely go together.
Dear me, you are smart.
I am always smart. Am I not, Mr. Worthing?
You are quite perfect, Miss Fairfax.
Oh, I hope I'm not that. If indeed no room for development, and I intend to develop in many directions.
I am sorry if you are a little late, Algernon, but I was obliged to call and be a Lady Harvey. I hadn't been there since the girl was in bed. I never saw her so altered. She looks quite 20 years younger. Now, I'll have tea. One of those nice cucumber sandwiches you promised me.
Certainly, Aunt Augusta.
When did you come and sit here, Gwendolyn?
Thanks, Mamma. I'm quite comfortable where I am.
Good heavens! Lane, why are there no cucumber sandwiches? I ordered them specially.
Sir, I went down twice.
No cucumbers?
No, sir. Not even for anyone.
That will do it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm greatly distressed, Aunt Augusta. There being no cucumbers, not even for ready money.
It really makes no matter, Algernon. I had some problems with Lady Harvey. It seems to me to be living entirely for pleasure now.
I hear her hair has turned quite gold from grief.
It certainly has changed its colour. From what cause, I, of course, cannot say. I have quite a treat for you tonight, Algernon. I'm going to see you next to Lady Farquhar. She's such a nice woman and so attentive to her husband. It is delightful to watch her.
I'm afraid, Aunt Augusta, that I shall have to give up the pleasures of dining with you tonight after all.
Oh, I hope not, Algernon. It would put my table completely out. Your uncle would have to dine upstairs. I think he's accustomed to it.
It is a great war, and I need hardly say a terrible disappointment to me. But the fact is, I have just had a telegram to say that my poor friend Bunbury is dreadfully ill again. They seem to think I should be with him.
It is strange. This Mr. Bunbury seems to suffer from curiously bad health.
Yes, poor Bunbury is a dreadful invalid.
Well, seems to me high time that Mr. Bunbury made up his mind whether he was to live or to die. The shilly-shallying of the question is quite absurd. Nor do I in any way approve of the modern sympathy with invalids. I consider it morbid. Illness of any kind is not a thing to be encouraged as others. Health is the primary duty of life. Indeed, I should be much obliged if you would ask this Mr. Bunbury to make up his mind and come and be much obliged not to have a relapse on Saturday, as I rely on you to arrange my music for me. It is my last reception, and what about something that will encourage conversation, particularly at the end of the season, when everyone has said whatever it is they need to say, which is probably not much.
I'll speak to Bunbury, Aunt Augusta, if he's still conscious. But I think I can promise that he'll be all right by Saturday. Of course, the music is a great difficulty. If one plays good music, people don't listen. And if one plays bad music, people don't talk. However, I'll run off the program now. If you will kindly come into the next room for a moment.
It is very thoughtful of you, Algernon. I'm sure the program will be delightful after a few explanations. French opera cannot possibly allow. People always seem to think they are improper, and I look shocked, which is vulgar or laugh, which is worse. But Germans have a very respectful language, and indeed I believe it is so. Gwendolyn, you will accompany me.
Certainly, Mamma.
Charming day it has been, Miss Fairfax.
Pray
I would like to be allowed to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's temporary absence.
I would certainly advise you to do so. Somehow, it's a way of coming back, suddenly in a room that I often have to speak to her about.
Miss Fairfax, ever since I've met you, I've admired you more than any other girl I've ever met since I've met you.
Yes, I am certainly well aware of the fact, and I often wish that in public, at any rate, you had been more demonstrative. For me, you have always had an irresistible fascination, even before I met you. I was far from indifferent to you. We live, as I hope you know, Mr. Worthing, in an age of ideals. The fact is constantly mentioned in the more extensive monthly magazines and has reached the provincial purpose, I am told. And my ideal has always been to love someone of the name of Ernest. There is something in that name that inspires absolute confidence. The moment Algernon first mentioned to me that he had a friend called Ernest, I knew I was destined to love you.
You really love me, Gwendolyn.
Passionately.
Oh, darling, you don't know how happy you've made me.
My own Ernest.
But you don't mean to say that you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Ernest.
But your name is Ernest.
Yes, I know it is, but supposing it was something else, do you mean to say that you couldn't love me then?
Ah, that is clearly a metaphysical speculation. And like most metaphysical speculations has very little reference at all to the actual facts of real life as we know.
Personally, Gwendolyn, I don't much care for the name of Ernest. I don't think the name suits me at all.
It suits you perfectly. It is a divine name. It has music of its own. Produces vibrations.
Well, really, Gwendolyn, I must say that I think there are lots of other much nicer names out there. Like Jack, for instance, is a charming name.
Jack. No. There's little music in the name Jack, if any at all, indeed. It does not thrill, produces absolutely no vibrations. I have known several Jacks, and they all, without exception, were more than usually plain. Besides, Jack is notorious domesticity for John, and I pity any woman who is married to a man called John. She would probably never be allowed to know the entrancing pleasure of a single moment's solitude. The only really safe name is Ernest.
Gwendolyn, I must get christened at once. I mean, we must get married at once. There is no time to be lost.
Married Mr. Worthing?
Well, surely, you know that I love you, and you led me to believe, Miss Fairfax, that you are not absolutely indifferent to me.
I adore you, but you haven't proposed to me yet. Nothing has been said at all about marriage. The subject has not even been touched on.
Well, may I propose to you now?
I think it would be an excellent opportunity. And to spare you any possible disappointment, Mr. Worthing, I think it's only fair to tell you, quite frankly, beforehand, that I am fully determined to accept you.
Gwendolyn,
Yes, Mr. Worthing, what have you got to say to me?
you know what I've got to say to you.
Yes, but you don't say it.
Gwendolyn, will you marry me?
Of course I will, darling. How long you have been about it. I'm afraid you have had very little experience in how to propose.
My own one, I've never loved anyone in the world but you.
Yes, but men often propose for practice. I know my brother Gerald does. All my girlfriends tell me so. What wonderfully blue eyes you have, Ernest. They are quite blue. I hope you will always look at me just like that, especially when there are other people present.
Mr. Worthing, rise, sir, from this semi-recumbent posture. It is most indecorous.
Mamma, I must beg you to retire. This is no place for you. Besides, Mr. Worthing has not quite finished yet.
Finished what, may I ask?
I am engaged to Mr. Worthing, Mamma.
Pardon me, you are not engaged to anyone. your answers be what a really affectionate mother requires. Do you smoke?
Well, yes, I must admit I smoke.
I'm glad to hear it. A man should always have an occupation of some kind. There are hardly many idle men in London as it is. How old are you?
29.
Very good age to be married at. I've always been of the opinion that a man who desires to be married should know either everything or nothing. Which do you know?
Ooh, I know nothing, Lady Bracknell.
Please don't get it. Anything that hassles with natural ignorance. Ignorance is like a delicate exotic fruit. You touch it and the bloom is gone. The whole theory of modern education is radically upside. Fortunately, in England at any rate, education produces no effect whatsoever. You can deal with prove serious danger to the upper classes, it will probably lead to acts of violence in Grosvenor Square. What is your income?
Between 7,000 and 8,000 a year.
In land or in investments?
In investments, chiefly.
Dissatisfaction.
I own a house in the country, with some land attached to it, of course. About 1,500 acres, I think, but I don't depend on that for my real income. In fact, as far as I can make out, the poachers are really the only people who seem to take anything out of it.
Perhaps something better, for example, is trying to be cleared up afterwards. You have a house, I hope. A girl with a simple, unspoiled nature like Gwendolyn can hardly be expected to reside.
Well, I own a house in Belgrave Square, but it is let by the year to Lady Blossom. Of course, they can get it back any time they like, within 6 months' notice.
Lady Blossom. I don't know her.
Oh, she goes about very little. She is a lady considerably advanced in years.
Nowadays, that is no guarantee of respectability of character. What number in Belgrave Square?
149.
Good fashionable side. Before their son. Well, not easily altered.
Do you mean the fashion or the side?
They necessary accuracy. What are your politics?
Well, I'm afraid I really have none. I'm a liberal unionist.
The character's choice. Dining brothers will come in the evening at any rate. Now to minor matters. Are your parents living?
I have lost both my parents.
Babe. To lose one parent, Mr. Worthing, may be regarded as a misfortune. To lose both looks to me like carelessness. Who was your father? He was evidently a man of some wealth. Was he born in what the radical papers called the purple of commerce, or did he rise from the ranks of aristocracy?
Well, I'm afraid I really don't know. The fact is, Lady Bracknell, I said I had lost my parents. But it would be near the truth to say my parents seem to have lost me. I don't actually know who I am by birth. I was found.
Found?
Yes. The old Mr. Thomas Cardew, a man of a very kindly and generous disposition, found me. And gave me the name of Worthing because he happened to have a first-class ticket for Worthing in his pocket at the time. Worthing is a place in Sussex. It's a seaside resort.
And where did this wonderful gentleman with a first-class ticket to the seaside resort find you?
In a handbag.
In a handbag!
Yes. A black, leather, ordinary handbag with handles to it. It was an ordinary handbag, in fact.
In what locality did this James or Thomas Cardew come across this ordinary handbag?
The cloakroom at Victoria Station.
The cloakroom? At Victoria Station?
Yes, the Brighton line.
The line is immaterial. Mr. Worthing, I confess, I feel somewhat bewildered by what you have just told me. To be born, or at any rate bred, in a handbag, whether it had hassles or not, seems to me to display an attempt for the ordinary decencies of family life, which reminds one of the worst excesses of the French Revolution, that I presume you know that unfortunate movement led to. As for the particular locality in which the handbag was found, a cloakroom at a railway station might serve to conceal social indiscretion, but it could hardly be expected to regard as an assured basis for a recognized position in good society.
Well, may I ask you then, Lady Bracknell, what you would advise me to do? I need hardly say I would do anything in the world to ensure Gwendolyn's happiness.
I would strongly advise you, Mr. Worthing, to try and acquire some relations as soon as possible and to make a definite effort to produce one parent of either sex before the
that. I can produce a handbag at any moment if you'd like. Have it at my house in my cloakroom. I really think that should satisfy you, Lady Bracknell.
Me, sir? What has it to do with me? You can hardly imagine that I or Bracknell would dream of allowing our only daughter and girl brought up with the utmost care to marry into a cloakroom and form an alliance with a person. Good morning, Mr. Word.
Good morning. Oh, don't sing that gossiping tune, Algie. Idiotic you are.
Did it go off all right, old boy? You don't really say Gwendolyn refused you. I know just the way she has. She's always refusing people. I think it is most ill-natured of her.
Oh no, Gwendolyn is right as the truth. As far as she's concerned, we are engaged. Her mother is perfectly unbearable. I've never met such a Gorgon. I don't even know what Gorgon is like, but I am quite certain that Lady Bracknell is one. But in any case, she is a monster. A monster without being a myth, which is rather unfair. Pardon me, Algie. I suppose I shouldn't talk that way about your own aunt in front of you.
My dear boy, relations are simply a tedious pack of people who haven't the remotest knowledge of how to live, nor the smallest instinct about when to die.
Oh, that is nonsense.
Isn't?
Well, I'm not going to argue with you about the matter. You always want to argue about things.
That is exactly what things were originally made for.
Upon my word, Algie, you don't suppose there's a chance that Gwendolyn might turn out like her mother in about 150 years or so? Do you, Algie?
All women become like their mothers. That is their tragedy. No man does. That's his.
Is that clever?
It is perfectly phrased and quite as true as any observation in civilized life should be.
Oh, I'm sick to death of cleverness. Everybody is clever nowadays. You can't go anywhere without running into clever people. I sure wish we had some fools left.
We have.
I should extremely like to meet them. What do they talk about?
The fools? Oh, the clever people, of course.
Ah, what fools.
By the way, did you tell Gwendolyn the truth about your being earnest in town and Jack in the country?
Ah, the truth isn't the sort of thing one tells to a nice, sweet, refined girl like that.
What about your brother? What about the profligate Ernest?
By the end of the week, I shall have got rid of him.
But I thought you had said that Miss Cardew was a little too much interested in you. Won't she feel his loss a good deal?
Oh, Cecily's not a silly, romantic girl. She's got a capital appetite. She goes on long walks, and she doesn't pay attention at all to her classes.
I would rather like to see Cecily.
And I'll take very good care you never do. Cecily is excessively pretty, and she is only 18.
Have you told Gwendolyn yet that you have an excessively pretty ward who is only just 18?
One doesn't blurt these things out to people. Cecily and Gwendolyn are destined to become great friends. I bet anything you'd like that after half an hour that they've met, they will be calling each other sisters.
Women only call each other that after they've called each other a lot of other things first. Now, if we want to get a good deal of Willis's, we really must go in dress. Do you know it's nearly 7?
Oh, it's always nearly 7.
Well, I'm hungry.
I never knew when you were it.
What shall we do after dinner? Go to the theatre?
Oh no, I hate listening.
Well, let's go to the pub.
No, I hate talking.
Well, we might trot around the empire at 10.
No, I hate going around looking at things. It's so silly.
Well, what shall we do?
Nothing.
It is awfully hard work doing nothing. However, I don't mind hard work, but where there is no different object of any kind.
Mr. Brooks.
Gwendolyn, upon my word!
Algie, kindly turn your back. I have something very particular to say to Mr. Word.
Really, Gwendolyn, I don't think I can allow this at all.
Algie.
My darling.
We may never be married. From the expression of Mamma's face, I fear we never shall. Few parents nowadays pay any regard to what the children say to them. The old-fashioned respect for the young is fast dying out. Whatever influence I ever had over Mamma, I lost at the age of 3. But although she may prevent us from becoming man and wife, and I may marry someone fascination. The simplicity of your character makes you exquisitely incomprehensible to me. Your town address is the Albany I have. What is your address in the country?
The Manor House, Woolton, Hertfordshire.
There is a good postal service, I suppose. It may be necessary to do something desperate. That, of course, will require serious consideration. I will communicate with you daily.
My own darling.
How long do you remain in town?
Till Monday.
Good. Alfie, you may turn round now.
Thanks, I've turned round already.
You may also ring the bell.
You will let me see to your own carriage, my darling?
Certainly.
I will see Miss Fairfax out.
Yes, sir.
A glass of sherry, Elaine.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow night, I'm going Bunbury.
Yes, sir.
I shall probably not be back till Monday. You can put up all my dress clothes and smoking jacket and all the usual Bunbury suits.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow, Elaine, I hope will be a fine day.
It never is, sir.
Elaine, you're a perfect pessimist.
I do my best to give satisfaction, sir.
There's a sensible, intellectual girl, the only girl I have ever cared for in my life. What on earth are you so amused at?
Oh, I'm just a little anxious about poor Bunbury, that is all.
Oh, if you don't take care, poor Bunbury is going to get you into a serious scrape someday.
I love scrapes. They're the only things that are never serious.
Oh, nonsense. You never talk anything but nonsense.
Nobody ever does.
15 minutes intermission.
Oh.
15 minutes. 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 15 minutes.
But it's not the same.
Yeah, like if we look at like freedoms or whatever. Well, I will say, I remember during the pandemic, kid and he did it in his basement. And his basement was set out like a lounge.
Oh yeah, he's got it. He's got a nice house. Yeah, it's funny. I live. So I'm excited to bring that city day and Saturday. And now I'm in June. But I asked our parents that hopefully that I'm telling them and that I'm yeah. And they were like, yeah, let the world look into it. It's a really busy time. So then I was nervous. I don't want to change the time. Just stay on the same yeah.
City.
Of course, like she just made it. Exactly. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Wait, I was crazy. I was like, what's
Oh. Why do you always think of AI?
Is it like you always been in like plays or no?
Maybe
Just been around in front of the family?
You wouldn't teach me to do that. We got
No clapping.
It is. And I I'm gonna call Drew for his.
I know my mom was saying like you're out there, you can like
Yes, right. Right.
not. Are you saying like
I do like cats. I like cats like when I'm there with you.
oh you don't want me to say anything?
No, it's fine.
Right.
No, I'm just
Or just cat.
Happy 18th birthday to Marilyn. Here's $100.
Okay. Now it's up.
One hour.
Surely subject to the terrier occasion, somewhat of a flower has rather more confusion than yours, especially to knowledge and intellectual pleasures with you. Your German grammar is on the table. Pray over to page 15. We will repeat yesterday's lesson.
But I don't like German. It is as if all of a coming language. I also know perfectly well that I look quite pretty after my German lesson.
Child, you know how anxious your body is that you should improve yourself in every way. He laid particular stress on your German as he was leaving for town this day. Indeed, he always lays stress on your German when he's leaving for town.
Dear Uncle Jack is so very serious. Sometimes he is so serious, I don't think he can be quite well.
Your guardian enjoys the best of health, and his gravity of demeanor is especially to be commended, and one so comparatively undeceived. I know no one who has a higher sense of duty and responsibility.
I suppose that is why he was a little bored when we were together.
Cecily, I'm surprised at you. Mr. William has many troubles in his life. I am married, and triviality would be out of place in this conversation. You must remember his constant anxiety about that unfortunate young man, his brother.
I wish Uncle Jack would allow that unfortunate young man, his brother, to come down here sometime. We might have a good influence over him, Miss Bertha. I am sure certainly you would. You know, German and geology and things of that kind influence a man so very much.
I'm not in favor of this modern way for turning bad people into good people under lower stages. As a man so little read, you must know your diary, Cecily. I really don't see why I should keep a diary at all.
I keep a diary in order to enter all the wonderful secrets of my life. If I didn't write them down, I should probably forget all about them.
Memory, my dear Cecily, is the diary we all keep about with us.
Yes, but it usually chronicles the things that have never happened or could have possibly have happened. I also think memory is responsible for nearly all the 3-volume novels in the Lexington libraries and
Do not speak slightingly of the 3-volume novel, Cecily. I wrote them myself in early days.
Did you really, Miss Grissom? Oh, how wonderfully clever you are. I hope it did not attack with you. I don't like novels that attack me. They depress me so very much.
Good ended happily, the bad unhappy. That is what fiction means.
I suppose so. It seems unfair. And was your novel ever published?
Alas, no. The manuscript unfortunately was abandoned. I used the word in the sense of lost or mislaid. To your well, child, these speculations are profitless.
Oh, do they see Dr. Charles coming up in the Dr.
Dr. Tolstoy, this is indeed a pleasure.
And how are we this morning, Miss Grissom? You are, I trust well.
Miss Grissom here has just been complaining of a slight headache, and I think it would do her so much good to have a short stroll with you in the park, Dr. Tolstoy.
Cecily, I don't know anything about the headache.
Oh, dear Miss Grissom, no, I know that. But I felt instinctively that you had a headache. And indeed, I was thinking about that and not about my German lesson.
I hope, Cecily, you're not inattentive.
I'm afraid I am.
This is strange. Were I fortunate enough to be Miss Grissom's pupil, I would hang upon her lips. I speak only metaphorically, a metaphor drawn from me. Mr. Worthing, I suppose, hasn't returned from town yet.
We could expect him till Monday afternoon.
Yes, he usually likes to spend his Sundays in London. He's not one of those who so aims enjoyment, as by all accounts that unfortunate young man his brother seems to be. But I must not disturb Aphrodite or people any longer.
Aphrodite, when is the Letitia, Doctor?
A classical illusionary, John's taken up this. I shall see you both no doubt at Evansville.
I thank you, Doctor. I will have a stroll with you. I find I have a headache after all, and I won't grant you good.
With pleasure, Mr. President, with pleasure. Might we go as far as the schools and back?
That would be delightful. Cecily, you will read your principal kindly in my absence. The chapter on the fourth root you may omit. It is somewhat too sensational. Even these metallic problems have their melodramatic side.
Horrid political economy, horrid geography, and horrid German.
Mr. Aaron's purpose is to shoot over the station. He's got his luggage with him.
Ernest Worthing before the Albany. Uncle Jack's brother. Did you let him know Mr. Worthing was in town?
Yes, miss. He seemed very much disappointed. I have to say, no misconception with regard. He seemed anxious to speak to you privately for a moment.
Pretty asked him to come up here. And I suppose you should talk to the housekeeper about the room for him.
Yes, miss.
I have never met any truly wicked persons before. I am rather frightened. I am afraid he will look just like anyone else.
He does. You are my little cousin Cecily, I'm sure.
You must be under some strange mistake. I am not little. In fact, I weigh around what is usually tall for my age. But I am your cousin Cecily. You, I see from your card, are Uncle Jack's brother, my cousin Ernest. My wicked cousin Ernest.
Oh, I am not really wicked at all, cousin Cecily. You mustn't think I'm wicked.
If you are not, then you have certainly been deceiving us all in a very inexcusable manner. I hope you have not been leading a double life, pretending to be wicked and being really good all the time. That would be hypocrisy.
Oh, of course I would rather reckless.
I'm glad to hear it.
In fact, now that you mention the subject, I have been very bad in my own small way.
Oh, I don't think you're so proud of that, though I'm sure it's very good.
It is much pleasanter being here with you.
I don't understand at all how you can be here. Uncle Jack will be back till Monday afternoon.
That was a great disappointment. I'm obliged to go up by the first train on Monday morning. I have a business appointment I am anxious to miss.
Couldn't you miss it anywhere but in London?
No, the appointment is in London.
Oh, well, I, of course, know the importance of not taking your business engagement if one wants to retain any sense of beauty of life. But I still think you should go to Uncle Jack about it. I know he wants to speak with you about your emigrating.
About my what?
Your emigrating. He's gone off to buy your outfit.
I certainly wouldn't let Jack buy my outfit. He has no taste in neckties at all.
I don't think you require neckties. Uncle Jack is moving to Australia.
Australia? I'd sooner die.
Well, during dinner on Wednesday night, Uncle Jack said you would have to pick between this world, the next world, and Australia.
Well, the accounts I've heard of this world, of Australia and the next world, are not particularly encouraging. This world is good enough for me, cousin Cecily.
Yes, but are you good enough for it?
Oh, I'm afraid I'm not that. That is why I want you to reform me. You might make it your mission if you don't mind, cousin Cecily.
I'm afraid I don't have time this afternoon.
Well, would you mind for a drive reforming myself this afternoon?
That is rather quixotic of you, but I think you should try.
I will. I feel better already.
You're looking a bit worse.
That is because I'm hungry.
Oh, don't listen to me. I should have remembered that when one is planning to lead an entirely new life, one requires wholesome and regular meals. Won't you come in?
Thank you. Might I have a buttonhole first? I never have any appetite unless I have a buttonhole first.
A yellow rose?
No, I'd sooner have a pink rose.
Why?
Because you, cousin Cecily, are like a pink rose.
I'm pretty sure you to talk to me like that. Miss Prism never says such things to me.
And Miss Prism is a short-sighted old lady. You are the prettiest girl I ever saw.
Miss Prism said that all girls are snared.
They are a snare every sensible man would like to be caught in.
I don't think I would care to have a sensible man. I want to know what to talk to him about.
You are too much alone here, Dr. Tolswell. You should get married.
The precept is also practice that the primitive church is distinctly against matrimony.
That is obviously the reason why the primitive church has not lasted up to the present day. And you cannot seem to realize, Consultant, that by consistently remaining single, a man converts himself to a permanent public vocation. Men should be more careful. This very celibacy could lead the vessels astray.
But is a man not equally attractive when married?
No married man is ever attractive except to his wife.
And often I'm told valued to her.
That depends on the intellectual sympathies of the woman, and sure can be depended on the right person to be trusted. Young women are free, and I spoke horticulturally. My metaphors run from fruits, but where's Cecily?
Perhaps you followed us to schools?
Mr. Worthing,
Mr. Worthing.
this is indeed a surprise. You know nothing for Monday afternoon.
I have arrived sooner than I expected. Dr. Charles will I hope you're all well.
Dear Mr. Worthing, I trust this God of war does not before some terrible calamity.
My brother.
More shameful death and extravagance.
Still leading a life of pleasure.
Dead.
Your brother Ernest, dead.
Quite dead.
It's a lesson for him. I trust he was profited by it.
Mr. Worthing, I offer you my sincere condolences. At least you have the consolation of knowing that you were always the most generous and forgiving of your brothers.
Oh, poor Ernest, he had many faults. But it is a sad, sad blow.
Very sad blow indeed. Were you with him at that?
No, he died abroad, in Paris, in fact. Had received a telegram from the manager of the Grand Hotel.
Was the cause of death mentioned?
A severe chill, it seems.
As a man so shall he reap.
Charity, Mr. Charity. None of us are perfect. I myself am peculiarly susceptible to droughts. Will the burial take place yet?
No, he had expressed a desire to be buried in Paris.
In Paris? I should have hardly pointed to any very serious state of mind from that. You would no doubt wish me to make some slight allusion to this tragic domestic affliction at the My sermon on the meaning of man and the wilderness can be adapted to almost any occasion, joyful or in the present day, distressing. I have preached it at harvest celebrations, christenings, confirmations, and on days of humiliation and festival days.
That reminds me, you mentioned christenings, Dr. Chaucer. I suppose you know how to christen all right? I mean, you are continually christening, I believe.
It is, I regret to say, one of the rector's most constant duties in his parish. I have often spoken to the poorer classes on the subject, but they don't seem to know what thrift is.
Is there a particular instance in whom you're interested, Mr. Worthing? Your brother, I believe, unmarried, was he not?
Oh, yes.
People who live with highly professional usually are.
It is not for any particular infant, Dr. Chaucer. I am rather fond of children, but no. The fact is, I would like to be christened myself this afternoon if you have nothing better to do.
But surely, Mr. Worthing, you afford to be christened already?
I have no memory about it.
Do you have any great doubts on the subject?
I certainly intend to have. Of course, I don't know if this thing would bother you in any way, or if you think I'm a little too old now.
Not at all. The sprinkling and indeed the immersion of adults is a perfectly canonical practice.
Immersion?
You need have no apprehension. Sprinkling is all that is necessary, or I would think advisable, or whether it is so to. At what hour would you want the ceremony to be performed?
Oh, I might trot around about 5 if that would do.
Perfectly. In fact, I have 2 similar ceremonies to perform at the time. A case of twins that has occurred in one of the outlying cottages on your own estate. Poor Jacob a most hard-working man.
I don't see much fun in getting christened with other babies. It would be childish. Would 5:30 be?
Admirably. And now, dear Mr. Worthing, I will not intrude any longer into your house of sorrow. I only merely beg that you do not be too much bowed down by grief. What seems to us bitter trials are often blessings in disguise.
It seems to me a blessing of an extremely obvious kind.
Uncle Jack, oh, I'm so pleased to see that you're back. But what horrid clothes you got on? Do go and change them, Cecily.
My child.
But what is the matter, Uncle Jack? You look like if you got a toothache, and I've got such a surprise for you. Who do you think is in the dining room? Your brother!
Who?
Your brother Ernest! He arrived about half an hour ago.
What nonsense! I haven't got a brother.
Don't say that, Uncle Jack. However badly he may have behaved to you in the past, he's still your brother. You couldn't be as heartless as to disown him. I'll tell him to come out. You will shake hands with him, won't you, Uncle Jack?
These are very joyful tidings.
After we had opened the door to this vault, the sudden return seems to me peculiarly distressing.
My brother is in the dying I don't know what it all means. I think it is absurd. Oh, good heavens!
Brother John, I have come down from town to tell you that I am very sorry for all the trouble I've given you, and that I intend to lead a better life in the future.
Uncle Jack, you're not going to refuse your old brother's hand.
Nothing will induce me to take his hand. I think his coming down are perfectly disgraceful, and he knows perfectly well why.
Be nice, Uncle Jack. You're so good at everyone. I'm here just to tell you about this poor English brother, Mr. Bunbury, whom he goes
but I must say that I think Brother John's coldness towards me is peculiarly painful. I expected a more enthusiastic welcome, especially considering this is the first time I've come here.
Uncle Jack, if you don't shake hands with Ernest, I will never forgive you.
Never forgive you?
Never, never, never.
Well, this is the last time I shall ever do it.
It's pleasant, is it not, to see perfect reconciliation. I think we might meet these two brothers together.
Trusting, who comes to us, certainly, Mr. Prism. My little house of reconciliation is over.
You have done a beautiful action today, dear child.
We must not be premature, Roger.
I feel very happy.
Halsey, you young scoundrel, you've got to get out of this place as soon as possible. I won't allow any thundering here.
I put Mr. Ernest Brogan to the room next to yours, sir.
What?
Mr. Ernest Brogan, luggage, sir. And I will have it in the room next to your own.
His luggage?
Yes, sir. We put some dressing case, 2 hat boxes, and a large American basket.
I'm afraid I can't stay more than a week this time.
Marion, what does the dog start at once? Mr. Ernest has been suddenly called back to town.
Yes, sir.
What a fearful lie you are, Jack. I have not been called back to town at all.
Yes, you have.
I haven't had anyone call me.
Your duty as a gentleman calls you back.
My duty as a gentleman has never interfered with my pleasures in the smallest degree.
I can quite understand that.
Well, Cecily, darling.
Oh, you are not to follow Miss Cardew that way. I don't like it.
Well, I don't like your clothes. You look perfectly ridiculous, you know. Why on earth should you go up and change? It is perfectly childish to be in deep mourning for a man who is actually staying for a whole week with you in your house as a guest. I call it grotesque.
You're not staying with me for a week as a guest or anything else. You've got to leave by the 4:05 train.
I certainly won't leave you so long as we're in mourning. It would be most unfriendly. If I were in mourning, you would stay with me, I suppose. I should think it very unkind if you didn't.
Well, will you go if I change my clothes?
Yes, if you're not too long.
Well, at any rate, that is better than being always overdressed as you are.
If I'm occasionally a little overdressed, I make up for it by being immensely overeducated.
Your vanity is ridiculous. Your conduct an outrage. And your presence here in my garden utterly absurd. However, you've got to leave by the 4:05, and I hope you have a pleasant journey back to town. This bunbury, as you call it, has not been a great success for you.
I think it has been a great success. I am in love with Cecily, and that is everything. But I must see her before I go, and make arrangements for another Bunbury. Ah, there she is.
Oh, I merely came back to water the roses. I thought you were with Uncle Jack.
He's going to order the dog cart for me.
Is he going to take you for a nice drive?
He's going to send me away.
Then we've got to part.
I'm afraid so. It is a very painful party.
It's always painful to part from those who share a brief space of time with. The absence of old friends we can endure with equanimity. But even momentary separation from anyone whom one has just been introduced to is simply unbearable.
Thank you. The dog cart is next door, sir.
They can wait there for 5 minutes.
Yes, miss.
Cecily, I hope I shall not offend you, but state quite frankly and openly that you seem to me to be in every way the visible personification of absolute perfection.
Your frankness does great credit, Ernest. If you will allow me, I'll copy your work from your diary.
I'd give anything to see it. May I?
Oh, no. It's just simply a young girl's records of her own thoughts and impressions, and consequently meant for publication. When it comes out in volume form, I hope you will order a copy. Right, Ernest? Don't so. I delight taking from dictation. I have reached absolute perfection. You can go on now. Don't cough, Ernest. When one is dictating, one must speak fluently and not cough. Besides, I don't know how to spell a cough.
Cecily, from the moment I laid eyes on your wonderful and incomparable beauty, I dared to love you wildly, passionately, devotedly, hopelessly.
I don't think you should say that you love me wildly, passionately, devotedly, hopelessly. Hopelessly doesn't make much sense, does it?
Cecily,
The dog cart is waiting, sir.
tell us to come round next week at the same hour.
Yes, sir.
Uncle Jack would be very disappointed if you were staying around until next week. At the same hour.
I don't care about Uncle Jack. I don't care for anyone in the whole world but you. I love you, Cecily. You will marry me, won't you?
You silly boy, why have you been engaged for the the last 3 months.
For the last 3 months?
Yes, it will be exactly 3 months on Thursday.
How did we become engaged?
Well, ever since Uncle Jack first confessed to us that he had a younger brother who was very wicked and bad, you, of course, formed the chief topic of conversation between myself and Miss Prism. And of course, a man who is much talked about is always very attractive. One feels there must be something in him after all. I dare say it was foolish of me, but I fell in love with you, Ernest.
Darling. And when was the engagement actually settled?
On the 14th of February last, worn out by your entire ignorance of my existence, I determined to end the matter one way or the other. And after a long struggle with myself, I accepted you under the dear old tree here. The next day, I got this to reading your name, and this is the bagel with the true lover's mark on it that I always promised you to wear.
Did I give you this? It's very pretty, isn't it?
Yes, you wonderfully good taste, Ernest. It's an excuse I've both given you for leading such a bad life. And this is the box in which I keep all your dear letters.
My letters. But my own sweet Cecily, I haven't written you any letters.
Oh, you need hardly to remind me of that, Ernest. I only remember too well that I have to write all your letters for you. I've always wrote
Oh, do let me read them.
Oh no, these make me far too conceited. The three you wrote to me after I had broken off our engagement are so beautifully written and so badly spelled. I can hardly read them now without crying with them.
Was our engagement ever actually broken off?
Of course it was, on the 22nd of last March.
But why did you break it off? What should I have done? I did nothing at all. I really don't see why you should have broken it off.
It would have hardly been a really serious engagement if it hadn't been broken off at least once. Besides, I forgave you for the live with that.
What a perfect angel you are, Cecily.
My dear romantic boy. I thought your heart romantic, does it?
Yes. Good help, mothers.
I'm so glad.
But you'll never break off our engagement again, will you, Cecily?
I don't think I could now that it actually met you. And besides, there is a question of your name.
Yes, of course.
You mustn't laugh at me, darling, but it's always been a girlish dream of mine to love someone whose name is Agnes. There's something in the name that inspires absolute confidence. I can't see any poor married woman whose husband is not called Agnes.
But, my dear sweet, do you really mean to say you couldn't love me if I had another name?
But what name?
Oh, any name you like? Algernon, for instance.
I don't like the name of Algernon.
My dear, sweet, loving, darling little Cecily, I really don't see why you should object to the name of Algernon. It is not at all a bad name. In fact, it is a rather aristocratic name. Half the chaps who get into the bakery score are called Algernon. But seriously, Cecily, really, if my name was Algernon, couldn't you love me?
I might respect you, Ernest. I might admire your character, but I'm afraid I shall not be able to give you my undivided attention.
Cecily, your rector here is, I suppose, well practiced in all the practices of the rites and ceremonials of the church?
Oh yes, Dr. Chasuble is a most learned man. He's never written any ghosts. You can imagine how much he knows.
I must see that once. On a most important Christmas, on a most important business.
Oh,
I shan't be away more than half an hour.
I think it's so hard for you to leave me for as long as it appears half an hour, as we've been engaged since February 14th, and I just mentioned today. Couldn't you make 20 minutes?
I'll be back in no time.
What's in the picture, boy? I love this guy so much. I'm going to put your proposals in my diary.
And this staircase is called to see Mr. Worthing.
Is it Mr. Worthing in his library?
Mr. Worthing took over the introduction to the rectory some time ago.
Pray ask him to come out here, and I suppose it's the 13th.
Yes, miss.
Miss Fairfax. Probably one of the many good elderly women who are associated with Uncle Jack and understood a Doppelgänger. I don't like women who are interested in the Doppelgänger. I think it's so foreign.
Miss Fairfax.
Pray, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Cecily Cardew.
Cecily Cardew. What a very sweet name. You are here on a short visit, I suppose.
Oh, no, I live here.
Really? Your mother, no doubt, or some female relative of advanced years resides here also.
Oh, no, I have no mother. Nor in fact, any relations.
Indeed.
I am still where she was born.
Oh. It is strange he never mentioned to me that he had a ward. How secretive of him. He grows more interesting hourly. I am not sure, however, that the news inspires me with feelings of unmixed delight. I am very fond of you, Cecily. I have liked you ever since I met you, but I am bound to state that now that I know that you are Mr. Worthing's ward, I cannot help expressing the wish that you were, well, a little bit older than you seem to be, and not quite so very alluring in appearance. In fact, if I may speak candidly.
Pray do so. I believe that if anyone has anything unpleasant to say, one should always be quite candid.
Well, to speak with perfect candor, Cecily, I wish that you were fully 42, and more than usually plain for your age. Ernest has a strong, upright nature. He is the very soul of truth and honor. And disloyalty would be as impossible to him as deception. But even men of the noblest possible moral character are extremely susceptible to the influence of the physical charms of others. Modern and no less than ancient history supplies us with many most painful examples of what I refer to. If it were not so, indeed, history would be quite unreadable.
I beg your pardon, but did you say Ernest?
Yes.
But this is not Mr. Ernest Worthing, my guardian. It's his brother, his elder brother.
Ernest never mentioned to me that he had a brother.
I'm sorry to say, we have not been on good terms for a long time.
Ah, that accounts for it. And now that I think of it, I have never heard any man mention his brother. The subject seems distasteful to most men. Cecily, you have lifted a load from my mind. I was growing most anxious. It would have been terrible if any cloud had come across a friendship like ours and did not. Of course, you are quite sure that it is not Mr. Ernest Worthing who is your guardian?
Quite sure. In fact, I'm going to read it.
I beg your pardon.
Dearest Switzerland, there is no reason why I should give any secret to this to you. Our little county newspaper should chronicle the fact next week. Mr. Ernest Worthing and I are engaged to be married.
I think there must be some slight error, dear Cecily. Mr. Ernest Worthing is engaged to me. The announcement will appear in the Morning Post on Saturday at the latest.
I'm afraid you must be under some misconception. Ernest proposed to me exactly 10 minutes ago.
It is certainly very curious, for he asked me to be his wife yesterday afternoon at her birthday. You can verify the incident. Afraid so. I never travel without my diary. One should always have something sensational to read in the train. I am so sorry, dear Cecily, if it's any disappointment to you, but I am afraid that I have the pride claim.
It would distress me more than I can tell you, dear Gwendolyn, if it caused you any mental or physical anguish. But I feel bound to point out that since Ernest proposed to you, he has clearly changed his mind.
If the poor boy has been entrapped into any foolish promise, I shall consider it my duty to rescue him at once and with a firm hand.
But entanglement, my dear boy, you have gotten into, I will never reproach you with this after you are married.
Do you allude to me, Miss Cardew, as an entanglement? You are presumptuous. On an occasion of this kind, it becomes more than a moral duty to speak one's mind. It becomes a pleasure.
Do you suggest, Miss Fairfax, that I entrapped Ernest into engagement? How dare you! This is no time to be wearing the shadow mask of manners. When I see a spade, I call it a spade.
I am glad to say that I have never
go.
From the moment I saw you, I distrusted you. I felt that you were false and deceitful. I am never deceived in such matters. My first impressions of people are invariably right.
It seems to me, Miss Fairfax, that I am trespassing on your valuable time. No doubt you have many other calls of a similar character to me in the neighborhood.
Ernest! My own Ernest! A moment. May I ask if you are engaged to be married to this young lady?
To little Cecily? Of course not. What could have put such a silly idea into a pretty little head?
Thank you, you may.
I knew there must be some misunderstanding, Miss Fairfax. The gentleman whose arm is present around the waist is Mr. John Manning, my guardian.
I beg your pardon. This is Dr. Jack!
Oh!
Here comes Ernest, my own love.
May I ask you if you aren't engaged to that young lady?
To what young lady? Good heavens, Gwendolyn!
Yes, Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn.
No, of course not. What could have put such an idea in your pretty little head?
Thank you, you may.
I felt there was some slight error. The gentleman who is now embracing you is my cousin, Mr. Algernon Moncrief.
Algernon Moncrief? Oh! Are you called Algernon?
I cannot deny it.
Oh, your name really, John.
I could deny it if I liked. I could deny anything if I liked. But my name certainly is John. It has been John for years.
It seems to me that the first position has been perhaps a bonus.
My poor wounded Cecily.
My sweet room, Gwendolyn.
You will call me sister, will you not?
There is just one question I would like you to ask the guardian.
An admirable idea. Mr. Worthing, there is just one question that I would like to be permitted to put to you. Where is your brother Ernest? We are both engaged to be married to your brother Ernest, so it is of some importance to us to know where your brother Ernest is at present.
Gwendolyn, Cecily, it pains me very much to be forced to speak the truth. It is the first time in my life that I have ever been reduced to such a painful position, and I am quite inexperienced in doing anything of the kind. However, I may tell you quite frankly that I have no brother Ernest. I have no brother at all. I never had a brother, and I certainly have not the smallest intention of ever having one in the future.
No brother at all.
None.
Had you never a brother of any kind?
Never, not even of any kind.
I am afraid it is quite clear, Miss Cecily, that neither of us is engaged to be married to anyone.
It is not a very pleasant position for a young girl to suddenly find herself in, is it?
Let us send her to the house. They will hardly come after us there.
No, men are so cowardly, aren't they?
This ghastly state of things is what you call wondering, I suppose.
Yes, and a perfectly wonderful bunbury it is. The most wonderful bunbury I've ever had in my life.
But you have no right whatsoever to Bunbury here.
That is absurd. One has the right to Bunbury anywhere one chooses. Every serious Bunburyist knows that.
Serious Bunburyist, good heavens!
Well, one must be serious about something if one wants to have any amusement in life. I happen to be serious about Bunbury. I don't know if you are serious about it. I haven't the remotest idea about everything I should fancy. You have such an absolutely trivial nature.
The only small satisfaction I have in this whole wretched business is that your friend Bunbury is quite exploded. Now, you won't be able to run down to the country quite so often as you used to, dear Algy, and a very good thing, too.
Your brother is a little off color, isn't he, dear Jack? You won't be able to disappear to London quite so frequently as your wicked custom was, and not a bad thing either.
And as for your conduct towards Miss Cardew, I must say that I think your taking in of a sweet, innocent young girl like that is utterly inexcusable, to say nothing of the fact that she is my ward.
I can see no possible defense for your deceiving a brilliant, clever, thoroughly experienced young lady like Miss Fairfax. to say nothing of the fact that she is my cousin.
I simply wanted to be engaged to Gwendolyn. That is all. I love her.
I simply wanted to be engaged to Cecily. I adore her.
There is certainly no chance of your marrying Miss Cardew.
I don't think there is much likelihood, Jack, of you and Miss Fairfax being united.
Well, that is no business of yours.
If it was my business, I wouldn't talk about it. It is very vulgar to talk about one's business. Only people like stockbrokers do it, men only at dinner parties.
How can you sit there, calmly eating muffins, when we are in this horrible trouble? I can't make out. You seem to me to be perfectly harmless.
But I can't eat muffins in an agitated manner. The butter would probably get on my cuffs. One should always eat muffins quite calmly. It is the only way to eat them.
I say it is perfectly harmless or eating muffins at all under the circumstances.
When I am in trouble, eating is the only thing that consoles me. Indeed, when I am in really great trouble, as anyone who knows me will tell you, I refuse everything except food and drink. At the present moment, I'm eating muffins because I am unhappy. Besides, I'm particularly fond of muffins.
Well, that is no right for you to eat them all in that greedy way.
I wish you had tea cake. I don't like tea cake.
Well, goodness heavens, I suppose a man may eat his own muffins in his own garden.
But you have just said it's perfectly heartless to eat muffins.
I said it was perfectly heartless of you. Under the circumstances, that is a very different thing.
Yes, that may be, but the muffins are the same.
Algernon, I wish to goodness you would go.
You can't possibly ask me to go without having my dinner. It's absurd. I never go without my dinner. Nobody ever does. Except vegetarians and people like that. Besides, I've just made arrangements with Dr. Charles will be christened at 6:15 under the name of Ernest.
My dear friend, the sooner you stop with that nonsense, the better. I have made arrangements this morning with Dr. Charles to be christened myself at 5:30. And I naturally would take the name of Ernest, Gwendolyn would wish it. And I have the perfect right to be christened if I like. And there is no evidence whatsoever that I have ever been christened before. And I should think it extremely probable I never was. And so does Dr. Charles. It is entirely different in your case. You've been christened already.
Yes, but I've not been christened for years.
Yes, but you have been christened. That is the important thing.
Quite so. So I know our Constitution can stand it. If you are not quite certain about your ever having been christened, I must say, I think it's rather dangerous you're venturing on it now. I must say, I think it's rather dangerous you're venturing on it now. You can hardly have forgotten that someone very closely connected to you was very nearly carried off this week in Paris by a severe chill.
You said yourself that a severe chill was not hereditary.
It used to be. I know, but I dare say it now. Science is always making such wonderful improvements.
Oh, nonsense. We're always talking nonsense.
Jack, you are at the muffins again. I wish you wouldn't. There are only a few left. I told you I'm particularly fond of them.
But I hate tea cake.
Why on earth, then, do you allow it to be served up for your guests? What idea do you have of hospitality?
Algernon, I've already asked you to leave. I don't want you here. Why won't you leave?
I haven't quite finished my tea, and there are still a few muffins left.
Jamie, I hope you know that we're the duo.
Yeah, we're the duo.
We're going to start. Thanks, everybody.
They have been eating muffins. That looks like repentance.
They don't seem to notice us at all. Couldn't you cough?
But I haven't got a cough.
They're looking at us. What a trick.
They're approaching. It's very boring.
Let us preserve a dignified silence.
Certainly, it is the only thing to do now.
This dignified silence seems to produce an unpleasant effect.
A most distasteful one.
But we will not be the first to speak.
Certainly not.
Mr. Worthing, there is just one thing I want to ask you. It is of much importance and much depends on your reply.
Gwendolyn, your common sense is invaluable. Mr. Moncrief, kindly answer me the following question. Why did you pretend to be my guardian's brother?
In order that I might have the opportunity of meeting you.
That is certainly a satisfactory response, is it not?
Yes, dear, if you can believe him.
I don't. But that doesn't change the wonderful beauty of the dancer.
True. In matters of great importance, style not conservative is vital thing. Mr. Worthing, there's just one thing I'd like to ask you. Did you pretend to have a brother in order that you might have an opportunity of coming up to town to see me as often as possible?
Can you doubt it, Miss Fairfax?
I have the gravest doubts upon the subject, but I intend to crush them. This is not the moment for careless skepticism. Their explanations appear to be quite satisfactory, especially Mr. Worthing's. That seems to me to have the stomach.
I am more than content with what Mr. Moncrief said. His voice alone inspired him absolute credulity. Yes, I mean, no, true.
I had forgotten that a principle has stated that one cannot surrender. Which of us should tell them? Task is not a pleasant one.
Could we not both speak at the same time?
An excellent idea. I nearly always speak at the same time as other people. Will you take the time for me?
Certainly.
Your Christian names are still an insuperable barrier. That is all.
Our Christian names? Is that all?
But we are going to be christened this afternoon.
For my sake, you are prepared to do this terrible thing.
To please me, you are willing to face this fearful ordeal?
I am.
How absurd to talk of the equality of the sexes, where questions of self-sacrifice are concerned, men are infinitely beyond us.
We are.
They have moments of physical courage of which we women know absolutely nothing.
Darling,
Darling.
Lady Bracknell,
Good heavens!
Wait a minute! What does this mean?
mainly that I am engaged to be married to Mr. Worthing, Mamma.
Come here, sit down. Sit down immediately. Hesitation of any kind is kind of betraying you. This is a weakness in you. A prize
Aunt Augusta. I mean, he was found out. The doctors found out that Bunbury could not live. That is what I mean. So when he died,
He had great confidence in the opinion of his physicians. I'm glad, however, that he made up his mind at last and acted under proper medical advice. Now that we've got rid of this Mr. Bunbury, may I ask, Mr. Worthing, who is that young person whose hand my nephew Algernon is now holding in what seems to me a peculiarly unnecessary manner?
That lady is Miss Cecily Cardew, my ward.
I am engaged to be married to Cecily, Aunt Augusta.
I beg your pardon.
Mr. Moncrief and I are engaged to be married.
I don't know whether there is anything peculiarly exciting in this particular part of Hertfordshire, but the number of engagements that go on seem to me considerably above the proper average, which statistics have laid down for our practice. I asked Mr. Worthing if Miss Cardew is at all connected with any of the large railway stations in London. I didn't desire information. Until yesterday, I was not aware of any families or persons whose origin was a terminus.
Miss Cecily Cardew is the granddaughter of the late Mr. Thomas Cardew of 149 Belgrave Square, Southwest, Gervais Park, Dorking, Surrey, and Cardew, Whiteshire, Scotland.
That is not unsatisfactory. 3 addresses always inspire confidence, even in tradesmen. But what proof have I of their authenticity?
I have carefully preserved the court guides of the period. They are open to your inspection, Lady Bracknell.
And strain the others in that publication.
Miss Cardew's family solicitors are Messrs. Markby, and Markby.
Markby. A firm of the very highest position in their profession. Indeed, I have heard that one of the Mr. Markby is occasionally to be seen at dinner parties. So far, I am satisfied.
I have also in my possession, you will be pleased to hear, Lady Bracknell, certificates of Miss Cardew's birth, baptism, whooping cough, registration, vaccinations, confirmation, and the measles, both of the German and English varieties.
A crowded instinct, I see. Though perhaps somewhat too exciting for me to I myself not in favor of predatory experiences, Gwendolyn. Have approaches for our departure, we have not been made to do. As a matter of form, Mr. Worthing, I suppose I had better ask if Miss Cardew has any little
No, only about £130,000 in the funds. That is all. Goodbye, Lady Bracknell. So pleased to have seen you.
130,000 pounds, and in the funds. Cardew seems to be a most attractive young lady. Young girls of the present day have any really solid qualities, any of the qualities that last in the period of time. William, I regret to say, in the age of service, has come in. Pretty girl, your dress is sadly simple, and your hair seems almost as if you might have left it, but we can soon alter that. A very experienced French maid produces a really marvelous result. In a very brief space of time, indeed, I remember recommending one to Lady Lansing, and after 3 months, her own husband did not know her.
After 6 months, nobody knew her.
Can you turn around here? No, side views at all. Quite as I expected, there are distinct social possibilities in the profile. 2 weak points in our age are its want of principle and its want of profile, which is it higher. They are largely dependent on the way the chin is worn, and probably higher to their present elements. There are distinct social possibilities in this Cardew's profile.
I don't care tuppence about social responsibilities. Cecily's the sweetest, dearest, prettiest girl in the whole world.
Never speak disrespectfully of society. Only that we can't eat. Of course, you know
Pardon me for interrupting you, Lady Bracknell, but I'm Miss Carter's guardian, and she cannot marry without my consent until she comes of age. That consent I absolutely decline to give.
On what grounds, may I ask? Algernon is extremely, I ought to say, ostentatious element. He has nothing, but he looks everything.
It pains me very much to speak frankly to you, Lady Bracknell, about your nephew. But the fact is, I do not at all approve of his moral character. I suspect him of being untruthful.
Untruthful? What have you done? Impossible. He attended Oxford.
Well, I'm afraid there can be no possible doubt about the matter. Yes, this afternoon, during my temporary absence in London on an important question of romance, he obtained admission to my house under the false pretense of being my brother. And under an assumed name, he drank, I've just been informed by my butler, an entire pint bottle of my Perrier Jouet Brut Cabrillon of wine that I was specially reserving for myself. Continuing these disgraceful deceptions, he succeeded in, over the course of the afternoon, in alienating the affections of my boy. Subsequently, he stayed to tea and devoured every single muffin. And what makes his conduct all the more marvelous is that he was perfectly well aware from the start that I have no brother. I never had a brother, and I certainly have not the smallest intention of ever having one in the future. I distinctly told him so myself yesterday afternoon.
Mr. Worthing, I have decided, after careful consideration, to entirely overlook my nephew's conduct.
That is very generous, Lady Bracknell. But my decision remains unalterable. I decline to give my consent.
Here. How old are you?
Well, I'm really only 18, but I'd always lived to 20 at evening parties.
You are perfectly right to make some slight alteration. Indeed, no woman should ever be really at that age. Looks so healthy. 18, admitting to 20 at evening parties. Well, it won't be long before your age, free from the restraints of tutelage. So I don't see that your guardian's consent is after all a matter of any importance.
Pardon me for interrupting you yet again, Lady Bracknell, but it is only fair for me to tell you that according to the terms of her grandfather's will, Miss Carter does not come legally of age until she is 35.
That does not seem to me a great objection. 35 is a very London society is full of women of their highest birth who, of their own free choice, remain 35 for years. Many dominant incidents at this point. To my own knowledge, she has been 35 ever since she arrived at the age of 40, which wasn't many years ago. We do not see no reason why our dear Cecily should not be even more attractive at the age you mentioned than she is at present. There would be a large accumulation of property.
And you could look me till I'm 35. Of course I could, Cecily. You know I would.
Yes, I thought it conceivably, but I can wait all that time. I hate waiting even 5 minutes for anybody. It always makes me rather cross. I'm not punctual myself, I know that. I like punctuality in others. So waiting, even to be married, is quite out of the question.
What shall we do then, Cecily?
I don't know, Mr. Humphrey.
My dear Mr. Worthing, as Miss Cardew states positively that she cannot wait until she is 35, a mark which I'm bound to say seems to me to show a certain impatient nature. I would beg of you to reconsider your decision.
The matter is entirely in your hands, Lady Bracknell. As soon as you consent to my marriage with Gwendolyn, I will most gladly allow your nephew to form an alliance with my ward.
You must be aware that what you propose is entirely out of the question.
Then a passionate celibacy is all any of us can look forward to.
Let me I propose for Gwendolyn. Algernon, of course, can decide for himself. Come, dear, we've already used 5, not 6 trains to miss any more might expose us to the common platform.
Everything is quite ready for the christening.
Sir, is not that somewhat premature?
Both of these gentlemen are expressed in desire for immediate baptism.
But they are made serious protests and irreligious. Algernon, I want you to be baptized. Not that would be highly displeased if you looked at that, the way in which you wasted your time and money.
Am I to understand then there are
it seems that, as things are now, it would not be of much practical value to either of us, Dr. Charles.
I am very grieved to hear such sentiments from you, Mr. Worthy. I will return to the church at once. Indeed, I've been informed for the last hour and a half. Miss Prism has been waiting for me best.
Miss Prism? Did I hear you mention a Miss Prism?
Yes, Lady Bracknell. My mom wanted to join her.
Well, pray allow me to detain you for a moment. This matter may prove to be of one of vital importance to myself and your daughter. Is this Miss Prism a female of the penitent aspect, remotely connected with education?
She is the most cultivated of ladies, and a very picture of respectability.
It is obviously the same person.
This prison has been, for the last 3 years, Miss Cardew's esteemed governess and valued companion.
In spite of the fact that I must see her at once. Let her be sent for.
She approaches, she's not.
You expected me in the vestry, dear Karen. I've been waiting for you there for an hour and 3/4.
Prism! Come here, Prism. Prism! Where is that baby? 28 years ago, Prism, you left Lord Bracknell's house, number 104, on the Grosvenor Street, in charge of a perambulator that contained a baby of the male sex. You never returned. A few weeks later, through the elaborate investigation of the Metropolitan Police, the perambulator was discovered at midnight, standing by itself in a remote corner of Bayswater. It contained the manuscript of a 3-volume novel of more than usually provoking sentimentality, but the baby was not there. Prism, where is that baby?
Indeed, Bracknell, I admit with shame that I do not know. I only wish I did. The plain facts of the case are these. On the morning of the day you mentioned it, it is forever branded on my memory. I prepared as usual to take the baby out of its perambulator. I had also with me a somewhat old but capacious handbag in which I had intended to place a manuscript of a work of fiction that I had written during my few unoccupied hours. In a moment of mental abstraction in which I can never forgive myself, I deposited the manuscript in the bassinet and placed baby in the handbag.
But where did you deposit that handbag?
Do not ask me, Mr. Webb.
This is a matter of no small importance to me, Miss Prism. I insist on knowing where you deposited the handbag which contains that infant.
I left it in the cloakroom of one of the larger railway stations in London.
What railway station?
Victoria, the Brighton line.
I must retire to my room for a moment. Gwendolyn, would you wait here for me?
If you're not too long, I'll wait here for you all my life.
Lady Bracknell, what does this mean?
I dare not even suspect, Dr. Constable. I need hardly tell you that in families of high position, strange coincidences are not supposed to occur. They are hardly considered a thing.
Uncle Jack seems strangely agitated.
Your guardian must be very emotional nature.
It sounds as if we were having an argument. I dislike arguments. I'm always wrong, and often convincing.
It has stopped now.
I wish you could write. You do.
This suspense is terrible. I hope it will last.
Aha! Is this the handbag, Miss Prism? Examine it carefully before you speak. The happiness of more than one life depends on your answer.
It seems to be mine. Oh, yes, here's the injury received through the accepting of the Gow Street omnibus in London happier days. Ah, and here's the same little lining caused by the explosion of a temperance beverage, an incident that occurred in London. Oh, and here, on the lock of my initials, I had forgotten that in an extravagant mood I had had in place where, oh, if I was undoubtedly mine, I'm delighted to have it so unexpectedly restored to me. It has been a great inconvenience being public all these years.
Miss Prism, more is restored to to you than this handbag. I was the baby you placed in it.
You?
Yes, Mother.
Mr. Waldorf, I'm unmarried.
Unmarried? I do not deny this is a serious blow. But who's the requisite cast of stone against one who is suffering? Cannot an act of repentance wipe out an act of folly? Why must there be one law for men and none for women? Mother, I forgive you.
Mr. Webb, there is some error. There is a lady who can tell you who you really are.
Lady Bracknell, I hate to seem inquisitive, but would you kindly inform me who I am?
I'm afraid that the news I have to give you will not altogether please you. You are the son of my poor sister, Mrs. Moncrief, and consequently Algernon's elder brother.
Algernon's elder brother? Then I have another half-brother. I always knew I had a brother. I always said I had a brother. Cecily, how could you have ever doubted that I had a brother? Dr. Charles Bull, my unfortunate brother. Miss Christina, my unfortunate brother. Miss Gwendolyn, my unfortunate brother. Algie, you young scoundrel, you've got to treat me with more respect in the future. You've never acted like a brother to me in all your life.
Well, not to today, old boy. I did my best. However, though I was out of practice.
My own. But what oaths are you? What is your Christian name now that you have become someone else?
Oh, good heavens. Quite forgotten that point. Your decision on the subject of my name is irrevocable, I suppose.
I never change, except in my affections.
What a noble nation you have,
Lady Bragg, at the time when I was placed in Miss Prison's handbag, had I been christened at the time?
Every luxury that money could buy, including christening, had been lavished on me by your fond and doting parents.
Then I was christened. That is settled. Now, what name was I given? Pray, let me know the worst.
Being the eldest son, you were naturally christened after your father, General Moncrief.
Yes, but what was my father's Christian name?
I cannot at present recall what the General's Christian name was. I no doubt he had one though. It was except for Guyver. That was only in later years. Really, only due to the Indian climate, indigestion, things of that kind.
Algie, do you recollect what our father's Christian name was?
My dear boy, we were never even on speaking terms. He died before I was a year old.
His name would appear in the army list of the period, I suppose, Aunt Augusta?
The General was essentially none of peace, except in his domestic life. But I no doubt his name would appear in any military record.
The army lists of the last 40 years are here. Let's see. And generals? Mallow, Maxwell, Maybe. Oh, what ghastly names they have. Markby, Migsby, Moss, Moncrief. Lieutenant, 1840. Captain, Lieutenant Colonel, Colonel, General, 1869. Christian names, Ernest John. I have always told you my name is Ernest, didn't I, Gwendolyn? Well, it is Ernest after all. I mean, it naturally is Ernest.
Yes, I remember now that the General was called Ernest. Anyway, I had some reason for disliking his name.
My own Ernest, I felt from the first that you could have no other name.
Gwendolyn, it is a terrible thing for a man to find out that all his life he has been speaking nothing but the truth. Can you forgive me?
I can, for I feel you are sure to change.
My own one. Letitia.
Frederick at last.
Cecily at last.
Gwendolyn at last.
My nephew, you seem to be displaying signs of triviality.
On the contrary, Aunt Augusta, I've realized for the first time in my life the vital importance of being earnest.
show. So, dear parents, they have to do the work right now. So they're going to finish completely, and then they will be able to go on their way. They can come and say hi to you, or do you want to take some photographs while they're here on the stage? And they can come and say hi, and then, folks, we're going to clean up, and then you, I think there might be some keys as well. Thank you so much.